Let's talk about the best way to automate bill payments as a real estate investor. What's up, guys? I'm Ben Day with Lionshare Bookkeeping, Landlord CFO, and we help real estate investors of all kind. If you buy property, we're here to help you out with their accounting, finance, bookkeeping, back office automation, you name it. And today we want to really get into how you can begin to automate big parts of your business, especially as you scale up. One of the most frustrating pieces of real estate are the bills. You would think that folks that hate opening mail and cutting checks and paying utility companies would get out of industries that have this at scale. So much insurance, so many utilities, and the numbers change. And then you've got like contractors and you're trying to grow your business and everybody has their hand out. Everybody wants to get paid and you have to pay everybody in order to make this business work. That's part of owning a business. So what we find most often is that a lot of folks, like the first thing that they'll ask, other than how does outsourced bookkeeping work, is can you pay bills for me? And so what we want to do today is begin to go through what is the best way to pay bills as a real estate investor and what's the best way to automate those bills as well so that you can at some point hand it off to somebody like me or like a bill pay assistance professional that can really help you streamline your business so that you can stop having piles of bills on your desk and keep going out and doing deals or go on vacation, do whatever it is that you need to do with your financial independence. So first, what we want to begin to talk about in this bill pay is that the good news is that a lot of the bill pay methods that we use in our personal lives will work for real estate businesses. At the end of the day, I don't know a utility company that will not auto draft an account. In fact, I know some bills that will not turn on your services unless you have some sort of bill payment method in place from the jump. Like you have to have a credit card, a debit card, a checking account synced up to the software or to their service before they turn anything on because they absolutely want to get paid. And so for us, when we think about the best way to pay bills, a lot of people we think are making it way too complicated. There's like next level bill pay control, like CFO measuring and like the time value of money and all these super fun things. I'm like, why you should wait to pay bills until the last minute. That is also stressful. And so what I would tell you if you're starting out and you're really trying to figure out how to automate bills is the first thing that I would do is put as much of it on autopilot as you can and just focus on being cash heavy. There's no reason to kick out paying bills if you have the cash. And if you don't have the cash, then like we need to fix a cash problem. We don't need to fix a bill problem. So first things first, if you're trying to automate, or the best way to pay bills really is through some sort of auto draft or automatic like deposit, automatic bill payment, ACH, and having cash reserves. This is somewhere where I think all real estate investors could be a little bit stronger. We live in the especially with like burring rental properties, there's so much about like put your cash into a deal and then pull all of your cash out and then go put all of your cash back in another deal. You've got an infinite return and it's awesome. And so people feel like they shouldn't carry a whole lot of cash in their real estate business because it's always in the next deal. I think that's a really dangerous way to live. You're one bad closing or one late closing away from not having enough cash in order to pay off your contractors or pay all your bills, especially if not everything's rented out yet. Unless you're running a lean and mean business, you're just gonna run into troubles doing that. You're gonna end up putting more cash into the business. I understand this idea that you want to be hitting as big of an ROI as you possibly can. What we see typically is that even businesses that have massive cash amounts, I'm talking like 6 figures in cash in their bank, if they're buying their deals correctly and they're still hitting their 1% rule on their deals at a minimum, that their return on equity could be 30%. Their return on asset use could be well over 12 to 15%. Their ROI could be all over the map, regardless of cash in the bank. And so if you want to pay bills, you should have cash in the bank I say this, and I know that it seems super easy, but what I mean truly is that don't put 100% of your cash into the next deal if you can. Get creative with your financing and leave a cash reserve 1 to 3 months worth of recurring bills that you might have, plus maybe a little extra in the odd chance that you have a vacancy and you need to take over the utility payments for a while, or you need to go into that vacancy and like make ready again and do a turnover. Whatever you need, like cash is going to help you here, especially when cash flow drops off for whatever reason, either because it's a new acquisition or because it's not currently rented out. Cash flow is king, but cash sure is handy to have. So first thing on paying bills is just make sure that everything is on auto draft when you get started and that you've got the cash reserves to make that happen. And you'll be much less stressed about this, I promise you. Number 2 on our list then is paying bills through something like Venmo, PayPal, Cash App, Zelle, any of these online cash transfer services. I have a huge bone to pick with these. Fundamentally, if you're getting paid through Venmo or Zelle or Cash App, that I can begin to get around. But really my struggle with these cash transfer apps is that they are not bill payment apps. They're not built for that. They're built for, hey, I need to send my friend $20 because they bought me lunch because I left my wallet at home, right? Whatever it is, they're not built for business use. They have business features, but they're not primarily built for business use. And it's hard to tell when they're being used for business or personal. So what we see most often here is that we'll see contractors who say, hey, just pay me through PayPal and it'll be great. And it's super easy. And you're thinking, oh yeah, it's super easy. But then we have no idea what to 1099 them because we're not sure if it's business or personal. And more importantly, it makes the communication and remembering what they worked on harder in the future. So if you're paying your contractors, you've got 3 different deals going on, you're paying them all through PayPal and they're all working on different properties at different times. And then you got to go figure out how much you spent on each house. Running all of that through PayPal or Zelle is really bad, or Cash App or Venmo. That becomes really hard to track your cash outflows in addition to staying compliant and filing 1099s and all of that stuff. So we really, really, really like it when you do not use these apps to pay for things. If you're going to pay for something, for a service to somebody else, there are other things that you can do to make that easier to track, easier to file. And that's really what we're going to get into in the next step. My one exception to this rule is when you're receiving money. So if you're going to receive rents through Venmo or PayPal or Cash App, your tenants are going to pay you. That's a little bit different. The key thing is that those deposits that you get from Venmo or whatever, you can see who is paying you. That's going to be critical. If you can't see it on the deposit at your bank, can you go and export that data and see that this person paid you this amount? And then you can line that up with your rent roll and we're off to the races. The communication piece to that is still really important. And I would not begin to mix business and personal and cash payouts and all of that in the mix here. Have dedicated platforms for dedicated reasons. As soon as you start making this complicated, you've got a bunch of stuff happening in an account because it's convenient. That's also as soon as it becomes more complicated for you. So I get the convenience piece, but let's set up different systems for different parts of your business. In this case, these cash transfer apps I might use to collect rent, but I definitely would not use them to pay contractors because it just gets confusing and you're not in control anymore. That leads us to number 3 on our list. If you want the best way to really automate paying bills and paying contractors, we love official bill pay software. And so there's all kinds of these all over the map. And some of them you'll have to pay a flat rate for and then a transaction fee. But what I can tell you is that right now, as of this recording, there is a bill pay system that is totally free. It just kind of takes a minute for like cash payments to get to your contractors. And it's called Melio. Melio payments, again, totally free, no monthly recurring costs, no per transaction cost. They don't charge you extra to send your check in the mail, any of that. But Melio payments will sync with your QuickBooks account, will sync with your software. You can pay your contractors. It is for business. They'll help you file 1099s. You can put in there what you're paying people for. You can attach their invoices. And what we really like it for is that because it's a official bill pay software, you can add team members to it. When you have team members helping you with bill pay, you want to make sure they cannot sign checks. They can do everything up to signing the check, but you need to be the person to actually approve. Hey, yes, I approve this bill. I am the owner. I'm signing the check. Now it gets paid. And I don't care if it's a real check or like an ACH or a wire or a credit card payment. At the end of the day, if somebody else is in control of your money, fraud, the chance of fraud explodes. So if you're the only person that can actually spend money, but all you have to do is go in and check a box, that's a really easy process, and you know that your team's got you covered on the rest of this. And so we really love using a service like Melio, where we can, as the bookkeepers, receive the bills, go and enter the bills in Melio. The business owner goes and approves them, and then they get automatically paid out to the contractor, whether it's a check in the mail or an ACH, or maybe it's a credit card payment that acts exactly like an ACH, but it's drawing off of your credit card instead of through a checking account. And then Melio just charges a fee for that service, and we're done, and that's it. And that's super awesome and super convenient. So as you begin to scale up your bill pay, and as you begin to scale up your business, really take these into consideration. At some point, it might make sense to have somebody else handle your bill pay. That's still, you're gonna have to pay them for their time. You might have to pay for the software if you don't use something like Melio. And so really fundamentally, we love having a cash reserve so that we can put bills on autopilot as much as we need to. We love having really easy apps in order to use. We love not using apps that are really difficult to track down and use later. We really like Melio. And ultimately, once you get to that point, it's super easy to just hire a bookkeeper, hire a bill pay assistance person to hop in and make sure that those bills flow that they need to flow if you're already using that system. So we love this stuff. Let us know in the comment section below what you are using to pay your bills. How do you like it? Do you think that it's compliant, or do you think it's just convenient? And what kinds of solutions are you looking for that we can help you piece together? Thank you again, and we'll see you in the next video.